In today's video, guys, we're gonna have a look at BATSBY. Now, unfortunately, I have no lattice, and probably the majority of you guys will be in the same situation. So he's gonna have 0 lattice invested into it. I 6-starred him. He's not level 50 just yet, but close to it. We're gonna see what work he can put in without lattice investment. Before we get into that, I just want to give a massive shout out to Etheria Restart for sponsoring the video. If you guys want to try out the game, you can click on the link in the description down below or in the pinned comment. Currently, we have these 2 summoning banners. We have the Frozen Frost with the Nymphonial, and we have the Twisted Tide with BATSBY. Now, yesterday I've made a video, guys, to kind of like make you aware of his capabilities, okay? He has the potential to one-shot or two-shot Aurora, but of course with an investment in his skill set. At the moment, I do not have that investment in his skill set, and I'm very curious to see how well he can perform without having the lattice in his S3 and S1, more importantly, right? Now, I'm going to share with you the build. We're going to try him in Aurora in a couple of different teams. We're going to try him in Ikonana. Basically, the whole idea with the character, guys, is that he can be very, very nasty versus enemies that are weaker affinity. Affinities that he counters. So he is blue, he's going to counter red affinity. And the more debuffs you have on the enemy, the more damage he's meant to do. And that is very, very important. Because if you're considering in using him in a traditional Aurora team, I don't think he's going to be that great. Maybe replace a Siada, replace a Rosa with him. I think he's going to perform not great. I don't think he's going to perform great like that anyway, right? So he's going to underperform. That's what I was trying to say. Now, he can apply wound with the first skill. What is nice about him is that he can extend the duration of the debuffs on the target, excluding crowd control ones, including dot damage and all the rest. And he has a chance to bring in vulnerable right here. For every 1 unit with crit landed, BATSBY gains Thermeter. That's actually really, really good because that will help him to rotate faster into the second skill. Now, without further ado, let's dive straight into Aurora. And then we're going to try a couple of different things. So, yesterday, I've made a video talking about this right here. I wish we would be able to watch the video. I'm so curious if it was a one-shot or if it was a two-shot from S3 into S2, or the S3 just completely wiped out the boss, right? Like you can see he has this almost max right here. I just wanted to basically make you aware in case if you're jumping to summon for one or the other, right? Be aware that he can actually demolish Aurora. Now, this is a tough boss. I think Rangokutsu and Aurora are the toughest bosses in the game. And with Aurora, it is quite a bit of RNG. She hits very hard. And if you're not dealing with her pretty damn quick, you have a very high chance to fail the run, right? But that being said, let's dive straight into it. First, I'm going to try to replicate more or less the exact same team that had that best clear time. Then we're going to try him in a more traditional team. So we're going to go, where is it? Right here. Now, I have him built with a count. And these are his total stats right here. Not full crit rate. Unfortunately, we are a bit short on that. But we have nothing, as you guys can probably notice, in his skills. He does have decent stats. The attack could be much higher. That would be nice. In order to do that, you do need to put in, of course, the lattice, especially into the S1, to be able to gain that attack percentage and flat attack. And yeah, I think it is one of those characters that is nice to have him fully empowered at Empowerment 5, right? That would be pretty damn crazy, but pretty damn costly too. Let's give it a go and see what damage we can actually do. Now, it can be a bit of RNG in here, depending on what the enemies dispel, if he's getting the cleanse or he's not, because Aurora does apply this curse shield that reduces our damage by a lot. This team is a lot of RNG, as usual. It's all about stripping the buffs, landing the debuffs, you know, and having Dyna here. She does bring a lot of debuffs, which are actually really, really important. We've managed to land them all. So we have 5 debuffs, which will boost the damage a lot for his skill, right? And it's all about that freaking passive. So we managed to get a cleanse in. We still have the increased attack. And the damage is really not bad, considering that he has no lattice into his skill, right? I think he's really not bad. And now he's rotating straight into the A2. So just with a simple rotation like that, we've got the boss down to under 50% HP. Keep in mind, I have no lattice in a Nymphonial either, so I'm not getting the full damage boost from there. The only thing is, if you're trying to replicate this strategy, it's not going to work, okay? You're just not going to have enough damage to be able to kill the boss as it is. And I wanted to show you this because I think it's very, very important, right? Because, yeah, it's one thing to have the lattice invested into him and into Nymphonial to basically get the perfect freaking environment and have him do crazy, crazy damage. But without the lattice, he's really not pushing in a lot of damage. Enough damage for this strategy to work, right? So the next best thing that we could attempt to do, but this is another thing that won't really work, and I'm going to explain in a second why, is putting him in a more traditional team, right? So instead of trying to go for a speedrun team, which does the job in terms of knocking the boss down to under 50% HP, he truly has a lot of damage in his skill, so very good capabilities to one-shot or two-shot Aurora, but it's just not enough. We have no survivability, so if we're not able to take that boss down quickly, we're not going to be able to push in enough damage, unfortunately, right? So we could potentially try something like this. So this used to be one of my older teams, the one with Siada, as you guys can probably notice it right here. So that used to be either Siada, either Rosa. I can't remember when I've made a video on this team, what I was using, but was months ago. The whole idea is that this is getting the job done in like 2-3 minutes, 3 minutes and a bit. This can fail as well like any other team, but it works. You can do it. Now, if we're going to bring in, of course, where is he? BATSBY instead. So we still have the count build. I can try and give him a revelation build after, because why not? I mean, more or less, they kind of like do the same thing. But I feel like this should get the job done on him. The problem that we will have in a team like this is we need to bring that increased attack, or at least have it there to be able to push more damage. You kind of need to have two decent supports in here to sustain your team, right? So having Valeriana and having what's her name, Ling Lu in here is actually pretty damn important. Look at the damage. We only have one debuff now, right? We landed vulnerable with his S3, but the damage is really, really low because we do not have enough debuffs to activate him as a character. Now, I could drop Valeriana and bring in Dinah to apply the defense down and other debuffs. We're going to give it a go and see how that plays out. But unfortunately, the damage is just not that great. And considering that this boss gets very, very annoyed at us if we're spending a lot of time in here, it means that we are most likely not going to succeed. Now, he used the S2 as well. He did put in pretty good damage, considering we have no defense down, right? Like, I cannot complain about his damage. It's just about the way we can build the team to basically enable him to do as much damage as possible, right? So that's kind of like the only thing that doesn't really work great with him in Aurora. I feel like, yeah, if you can do the first strategy with Lattice into him and maybe in a Nymphonial to really boost the damage, that is absolutely amazing. I am looking to build that at some point, but I need quite a few more freaking Lattices to be able to get it done. I only have 2 at the moment, and I'm still not sure exactly if I want to put them into Nymphonial for the first 2 upgrades on the S3, or I want to put them directly into him, right? We had the Curse Shield right there as a debuff on, which was pretty unfortunate. We haven't managed to actually deal damage like that. But the team, even though it has good survivability, sustainability, is just most likely not going to kill the boss. And that's because we do not have crazy damage output. So now we have the immunity on the boss. We have no debuffs. The damage will be pretty low. Still decent-ish, but it doesn't compare with a Rosa or a Siada, right? If you run any of those 2 characters, Siada brings the defense down, only spams the S3 skill. Rosa brings the decreased speed and a lot of extra hits, right? Which is really, really good. And overall, they will have a much higher damage output, regardless of their multipliers, right? Like you can say BATSBY can do crazy things in the right setup. But in a setup like this, I really don't think he's worth using, right? And yeah, I really do not think that we're going to be able to win this one. Like, we haven't even dropped to 50% HP on the boss yet. And we are getting hammered, okay? We are literally getting hammered. Just to say it in a nice way, because that's what is happening right here. So we are getting close to that 50% HP, but we lost BATSBY. Okay, so in a format like this, I just do not think is worth trading your Rosa or Siada. Now, my team doesn't use Rosa or Siada anyway. It's still a pretty good farm at around, what do I have? I think it's around 1 minute farm, and that's with Lilium, because she brings her own increased attack, man. It's such a huge advantage. Now, I'm going to try something, guys. I'm not sure if we're going to survive, but heck, I'm going to give it a go. We're not going to have the decreased attack, but I'm going to try to bring in my Dyna. Now, she's only at 5 stars, which means that she might actually die, but hopefully she won't. Let's see if we perform better by any chance in this format. So let's hope that we are cleansing that curse shield. Drop the debuffs. Dyna, come on. Don't let us down. Okay, so we are missing 1 debuff. And I'm curious to see, considering that we have no increased attack. The damage is actually better. This is exactly what I was going to say. I'm curious to see if without the increased attack, but with more debuffs, we're going to do more damage. And in fact, we are doing substantially more damage, to be honest with you guys. Look at that. So now, this might seem doable. Okay, this actually might seem doable in this format as it is. If we're going to land the 5th debuff, it's definitely going to be even better. And there we go, 50% HP down, and the boss is almost freaking dead. And that is without lattice into him. Now, as I was saying, I am a bit worried for my freaking Dyna, because she is pretty low on stats, just in general. But we might actually have a chance to get this done. Strip, put a decreased attack, put a decreased speed. Okay, we haven't landed the erosion right there, but that's fine. I think that was a basic skill. Hopefully Dyna will bring in the debuffs, and hopefully we're going to cleanse that curse shield, because that is really a big problem. Okay, we landed heal reduction on the boss now. Have we cleansed the curse shield? No, we haven't. Okay, that sucks. So the damage is going to be weak sauce. But if that curse shield would have been cleansed, we would have probably deal quite some crazy damage right there. Not enough to kill the boss, but it would have helped us to rotate into the second skill, and they'll deal more damage. So right now we only have 1 debuff. I'm not expecting to see too much out of him. It's really timed so freaking bad in here with that immunity and Dyna using her skill. But the main thing is that this is 1,000,000% doable. If we would have had slightly better RNG on this run, probably the boss would have been dead now. I'm going to try to give it another go, even though this video might be a bit longer than usual, guys. It's just to basically see if it's worth it without the lattice. And honestly, if you're building a team like this, in this format, I see no reason why it would not be good. Okay, we failed to strip the immunity. Talking about better RNG. I don't think the game knows what that is. Okay, come on, BATSBY. It's your moment to shine, baby. Yeah, and this is dead. At least, I hope so. Yeah. GG's. 2 minutes and 56 seconds. Actually, more or less a bit better than the team with Rosa or Siada. Okay? But you kind of need Lily in here to get the job done. Or you can run a Kazami, or you can run Tsukiyomi instead of Lily. And that could potentially get the job done. Yeah, that's actually a decent-ish... No, it's not a decent-ish piece because it's a flat. What about this? And that's trash. So that was pretty good. I think with better RNG, we could get it down to like 220, around there. Hey, you can't complain. I think he does have the capabilities and potential to do crazy, crazy, crazy damage. Now, if we're gonna go versus Nico Nana, I know I said I'm gonna try him on a Revelation, but I've done a couple of runs prior to recording the video, and in Revelation, I haven't managed to win not even a single fight, but that was, of course, without Dyna. It's fine, whatever you're running, Count, Revelation, both of them will work pretty well, right? Revelation, you want to get as much attack as possible, less crit damage, but still have the crit rate. So Nico Nana, I'm going to bring my regular team, and then I'm just going to slot in BATSBY instead of the DPS, right? Oh, damn. No idea that I tried her in here last time. It seems like we did. So we're going to do that. Then we are going to take you out. We're going to bring in BATSBY. And I'm quickly going to give you the build that Lilium has, because that's exactly what I've done right here. I changed the build from... Ooh, actually, no. I had these two pieces to get more crit rate. Okay, yeah, I guess we'll go with this. Even though we have 4% less crit rate, it's not the end of the world. As long as we get to do the damage, right? I could bring in here Nymphonial instead of Obol, right? But let's see without that in. Without the increased attack. Then we're going to do a run with Nymphonial too. Okay. It doesn't really seem like without the increased attack he's really going to push in damage. But considering that we can extend the duration of debuffs whenever that procs, that I think is really, really good. And we are doing good damage. Decent damage considering we have no lattice into him. But you can literally run a Deering in here and you're going to absolutely demolish this boss. Like, honestly, it's not really going to be much of a difference. 39 seconds, it gets the job done. He is strong versus this type of bosses. Because I have no lattice into his skill set, guys, I won't try him in Arena. I really think that the Arena got to a point where you're just fighting crazy opponents with fully skilled characters and stuff like that, especially real-time Arena. But let's actually dive into another run, and this time we are going to use Nymphonial as well. So Obol, get out of here, and Nymphonial, I think I might have to give her gear. I'm not even 100% sure. Oh, that's gonna be easy. Let's quickly give her something, the missing piece. So where are we with the speed? We definitely want to get more speed, so we're gonna look for something from here. What is this? 6. I have something a bit juicier than the 6 that is not equipped on any of them. No, I don't. Okay, so 6 it is. And where are we? 150 speed. Maybe a bit more would be nice. But hey, we're going to keep it as it is. I've tried to get as much HP on her as possible. Let's see if we can actually get to move before. So we're going to get the increased attack. We're going to get the shield that will boost the damage a bit. The main thing is that Nymphonial will give us the immunity right here. So we don't have to worry about the side adds. But we are going to have less debuffs on the boss. Okay. So it's not like a huge amount of damage, at least not in this format. We are putting a bit of work now, so we extended the duration of debuffs. I feel like it's a much better combo with Obol in here, because you're just extending all of those freaking debuffs, and you can bring in a lot of debuffs, right? Which is actually really, really good. Now, let's see if we are using the ultimate again. Still 3 debuffs. We have the defense down. We have the increased attack. We have the shield. Damage is okay-ish. You definitely want to have as many debuffs as possible. I was going to say, heck, are we actually going to fail a run in here? No way. But we haven't. Yeah, so you see with Obol, it actually worked much better in terms of timing and stuff. But that is what BATSBY can actually do with no lattice in his skills, guys. I think he will be great versus all of these red bosses. I think we have the Cage Rumble, right? I forgot actually about the Cage Rumble. We have the Cage Rumble where we have Nico Nana. Now that I was looking at the freaking screen, I saw the big monkey. We have that as an event. We have the Phantom Theater where he can be good. The Even the Union boss, probably. I think even in here, he could potentially be good when we have the right rotation. Not versus this one, because you really want to use him versus weak affinity to maximize his potential. But that being said, I won't be replacing my Aurora team at the moment, but I'm definitely planning to build him up in terms of skilling him up. So I'm only sitting on 2 lattice at the moment. So I kind of like want to put them in Nymphonial's S3 just to get an extra attack boost for the shield, right? But then I kind of want to put them into his S3 as well, because having the S3 will give you this, increase the effect of Thermometer to 20% from 15, which is a bit better, right? He's going to rotate faster. And the multipliers will go to 360% from 330. But the main goal that you really kind of like wanna get to is getting him to level 4. So 3 lattice into the S3, and then max this. Max the S1, 3 lattice into the S3. So that's 7 lattice to make him work really, really good. Then, of course, he will need this too if he does not have the capabilities to one-shot Aurora. But I'm so convinced that a good build on him and fully empowered to have this additional damage, to get all of the additional stats, I think he can one-shot Aurora with the right amount of debuffs and stuff on. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, guys. Are you pulling for him? You're not pulling for him? Much love. If you enjoyed the content, smash a like, subscribe to the channel, and I will catch you all in the next video. Peace.